It's great to connect with you ladies this evening. Caroline, welcome to the space, and Bernadette, welcome to the space. I know that from the little bit of information I have, you're both sisters, and
Yeah.
there are a few people in the spirit world that you would like to connect with in this session.
Yes, that's right.
Please.
Perfect. Caroline, could you give us a little recap just for people that are tuning into this particular session? We kind of have met briefly in a couple of different situations over the past year or so, I think it is.
That's right. Yeah. You did a reading for me, Dawn, last summer, and it was very insightful, and you gave me a lot of information that was true, and I could really relate to the people who were coming in. And I've also logged in to a couple of your Sunday sessions, whereby we're not sure who will come in. And I think a couple of weeks ago, you brought in my grandmother, and you got her name right and her attributes, and I could recognize it being her. And it's been a lovely experience. It's been very comfortable, and felt very safe and very comforting what I've received. Thank you.
I appreciate that, Caroline. Thank you for letting me know. Just for my own memory bank, okay, I'm going to ask your grandmother's first name again. I can feel her presence here. And she'll pick up like she where she left off, if that makes sense.
Yeah, her name was Maggie.
Maggie picked up. Bernadette, I know this is completely new for you, and
Yeah.
it's a pleasure to be able to work with both of you this evening. I know as grandmum comes forward, Dad's spirit side?
Dad is, yes.
Yeah, I can feel that she brings Dad close. And sometimes it just takes me a little bit of time to warm into them and for them to settle into my bones, as I say, but as I feel Dad here, I feel tears of relief. And there's this, finally, he's wanted to get both of you together for so long, and that's been really, really important. Did your dad have some problems with his heart?
Not that we were aware of, but potentially it might have been.
Yeah, I feel like there's like his heart. He's shown me it skips a beat. It skips it like, is it what they call an arrhythmia? Like it's skipping a beat, And he was aware that there was some kind of palpitations going on from time to time. And I won't go too much into his health just yet. I want to bring him that bit closer to me. But he's the reason you're here this evening. Okay. He needed you guys to know that he's safe, he's well, he misses you both very, very much. Bernie. He's going. Bernie. He says you're looking very well.
Oh, thank you.
Where's your dad? And see, I don't see him as a suit and booted kind of man, but every now and again, he's coming forward to me as if he's got his best jacket on, okay, and his best shirt on, and that's the way he wants to present himself to you this evening. He says, I'm feeling really good. Because he was very poor. And where I see him now, it's like he's come back to that strapping young man of 52, 53, and he feels really kind of very, very physically very well. I know that as he goes into the spirit world, he tells me it was a very gentle passing, and he really. Where's the Maura or the Maureen connected to you?
She is our sister-in-law.
Okay, because that was one of the first names that he reached out to give to me, to give to you. I know that Daddy here was a very proud man, and that's the impression I get with him. Like when he did something, he didn't do it by half, he gave it 150%. You understand? He was also a very spiritual person. I know his faith was very important to him. Bernie, who are you called after? Because I have to acknowledge the other female here called Bernadette in the spirit world.
My mom had a little neighbor in England. She was a little girl called Bernadette, and she used to help her, with the other children and stuff when she was pregnant with me. So I think
I feel there's an inspiration there, and I need to acknowledge her also coming forward to say hello to you. Okay. Now we won't get all of them through this evening in massive conversations, but your dad was very polite. You understand? And he was very respectful of women. So if there was women in the room, he'd tend to hold back and let the women talk or let the women have their say first. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah.
Did he have some challenges with his legs or his mobility?
No.
I need to acknowledge the person he's telling me to make reference to that had problems with their mobility and problems with standing upright, okay? And needing help to even get up and in and out of a chair, in and out of a bed. I want assistance. This is where he brings my attention to, okay? I feel like this is possibly Maggie. Do you understand? Your grandmother?
Not
Yeah.
really. No.
Who's the person with cataracts in their eyes?
My mother had surgery to remove them.
Okay. So I
And
just
did
want
your
to sit with just your dad for a second. It's making me very, very warm. Was he very, very warm or very flushed before he
I
passed?
think so. Do
No.
you think so? Mm.
on holiday?
Yeah, he was abroad when he passed. He was, in a hot country.
He's very warm. That's the feeling that he gives me.
Mm.
You understand? And as if he's hot again. It goes back to his heart. Feels like he says it was working that bit harder due to the heat, due to the warmth. Okay.
Mm.
He's talking
was-
about being dehydrated.
He
Okay.
was on holidays,
Yeah.
So,
He's very close to water, and his passing was very, very sudden and very unexpected. Do you understand?
yeah, he
So
actually drowned. Yeah,
I'm so sorry to hear that.
thank you, Dawn. Yeah.
That's very, very challenging. So I'm just going to pause with your dad for a second, because I know when he comes in, he was giving me this massive feeling of relief. You understand? And I want to stay with dad versus allowing anybody else into the space just yet till we actually make sure he said everything he needs to say. He was gobsmacked with everything that happened. Do you understand? Because again, it feels like as if I'm going out in the morning and I'm expecting to come back, but I didn't come back. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's talking about having been sat on an evening the evening before and everybody was so happy and everybody was so content. It feels like family's close to him and he's got friends around him. You understand? Very friendly. And he met a lot of people the day before that he actually, the whole community was very shocked by what happened. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Where's the Spanish connection?
It happened in Malta.
Which is not too far from Spain.
Yeah.
I know that this dad comes forward here. He's going, shoo, shoo, shoo. Come on, everybody, into the boat, into the boat, into the boat. He wasn't the only one there. Do you understand? He's talking about the waves being very choppy. Okay. And your dad loves water. Your dad by nature, loved water. You understand?
Yeah.
He was very comfortable in it.
Yeah.
Very, very comfortable in water. Margarita, Margarita. He's going, give me margaritas. Your dad loved a good time in a nice way. You understand?
Yeah.
He really did. And he was kind of a bit of a character with people. He loved that. He had a very playful side to his personality that you wouldn't always see at home. It's like when he went off on holidays, he became another person and he was kind of free, if that makes sense. What's the margarita connection?
I don't know.
Margarita, because he's just pouring all these cocktails.
Maybe he developed a taste for them when he went on holiday.
He showed me that movie from years ago with Tom Cruise in it with the cocktails, and he's going like this, and he's watching the barmaids, and he's watching everybody. And your dad just loved people. You understand? I don't quite understand. It's like he's holding back with me ever so slightly, bless him. Come on, Dad. Where's Patrick?
That's his name.
Yeah.
Patrick.
Yeah, he wants to acknowledge I'm Patrick, I'm here. Because he knows I'm struggling a bit with him, so he had to give me something just to kind of validate it's him. This is his day today. This is why he wanted it today.
Yeah, he used to like St. Patrick's Day.
There's no coincidences in this conversation whatsoever, girls. Whatsoever. This is the way it was meant to be orchestrated today. And he says the joke's on you. And he really did love St. Patrick's Day. Why do I see him driving a big mad tractor? I don't think that was something that he would have done massively, but he's got one here in the spirit world, and he's having a go on that horn, and he's absolutely using it.
Yeah.
He's got all the bunchings down the side. You know, if people could tell you their idea of heaven, right? His idea of heaven is being up on one of those big mad tractors, driving one of those big lorries at the back with the bunting musicians on the back, and everybody's happy and content. And right now, that's the heaven that he's created for himself in this moment in time, because he wants you to know that you can't take risks with life. You can't take chances. You've got to make the most of your life, because what happened to him probably shouldn't have happened, if you get what I'm saying. And it was in somewhat carelessness, all right? It was carelessness, and it was him not actually being very, very clear in his thinking about what he was doing. You guys are going to tell me what obviously happened to Dad in a little while, but he needs you to know that you can't take chances with life. You've got to do things right. You can't cut corners. Somebody was cutting corners here in this situation. Does this make sense to you? Without drawing up old wounds for you?
I'm not sure, because it happened in a swimming pool, Dawn. So there was no one else. Sadly, you know, my mum was there, like, but it happened kind of quickly in a swimming pool. You know.
Had he been out on a boat at all while he was there?
No, he wasn't on a boat. No, it was actually in a swimming pool.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm sorry for cutting across you, but your dad must have had connections to the sea also, to the water out there. You understand? Because I feel like when I look out, I'm looking at both.
He
Okay.
was swimming in the sea the day before.
The day before he was in the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And he was born in a place surrounded by the sea.
Yeah, that makes complete and utter sense. So, because I can see like a harbour, and I can see boats, and I can see that would have been part of his life. He knew and understood the water. You understand? So for this to happen is it's a bit daft, he says, because there were so many other points in his life where he could have been away. For this to happen in this way, he says, is it was embarrassing for him. You understand? He's cutting corners. And he knew it himself. He says on the day he was taking little bits of risks because he didn't think anything of it. You know, he was being a lad. He was being a young person, which was good for him. Do you know what I mean? He felt free, and he felt like he was enjoying himself. And he tells me he really was enjoying himself. Your mum didn't want to go in the water at all.
No.
She really, I mean, he was trying to drag her in. Do you know?
Yeah.
And her poor heart couldn't cope with what happened. Bless, you know, she just couldn't cope with what happened. Who's Mary?
That's our mum.
Okay, I need to
That's his wife.
acknowledge your mum, and he's looking for her. But I also need to acknowledge his own mother in the spirit world coming forward for him as he crosses over. Okay. Your dad was quite a shy person at times. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for him to be quite, I suppose, a little bit boisterous in himself away on holidays is new for him, you know? He likes getting away.
I think so, yeah. That was their first son holiday.
Bless.
You know. Yeah, they'd never gone on a son holiday. No.
That's quite sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a long time since your dad passed his spirit, Caroline. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Long time.
Long time, Bernadette. Yeah. Like for me, I'm going back like 20 years or so at least. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah.
25.
Yeah.
99, sadly.
Oh, so that is 25 years exactly, as you said there, Bernadette. Yeah. It's well into that. And, you know, like he's well adjusted to life here in the spirit world, but he often likes to come back and kind of nosy in on things from time to time. Not as much as he would have done many, many years ago, especially when Mommy was still alive. But now so much he rests. You know, I still go back to that feeling he gives me of fullness in his chest, and it must be the water that I'm feeling going into this area in his body and filling up, you understand? and he
Yeah.
goes unconscious then, and he says he just slips away. He says it was very different from Mommy. Was Mommy the one that was in hospital?
Yeah.
That's where I need to bring in that connection of seeing somebody in and out of hospital, you understand? And your dad always going with her for those appointments or those reasons for being there. There was times when she was in hospital, where she would have needed support, whether it was just walking or getting. Did she have surgery at one point in time?
No, that wasn't mom at all, actually. Yeah, no.
She was in hospital for about 5 weeks.
Just for a month only.
Yeah.
But she was a very fit lady when she went in.
She did have leg troubles though.
She had
Pains
some
in her legs.
vascular problems, pain in the leg, but nothing mobility wise, like she was able to walk.
Yeah.
She was
And
able to walk, so that's not your
yeah,
mum, that part. We're having a
yeah.
crossover between two females then, is what I'm sensing here, okay?
It
And
could be
and
my mother-in-law, because she had some mobility issues with walking and she had a lot of appointments.
yeah, that's
But
that's who we're
maybe,
referring to here, because I feel very lightheaded when I connect with this person, you understand, and your mother-in-law. I feel lightheaded as if there's maybe some blood pressure going on as well. And there's reason as I stand up, I feel like I'm going to possibly flop down again. Okay, so there's a weakness with her.
and Dawn, I've just remembered her name was also Maura.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And I'm going to pause just to hold space out of respect for her, because your dad was the one that brought her forward. She's given me the absolute goosebumps coming through me here. And now that we've tidied that up, I feel like I can relax. She can relax, you understand? And
thank
she
you.
was there the evening that we did the Facebook session. She wanted to say hello to both of you. Did she play cards, or who played cards?
No, one of her sons played cards in
I
the
need to
house.
acknowledge her son, and this is the reason why she wanted to speak, was to acknowledge and say hello to her son. Okay, I need to acknowledge the card player. There must have a point in time where she was either playing draft, or there's backgammon as well going on. Feel like I want to be drawn to a person, a lady. She was around that environment where people played board games, etc., that kind of thing growing up. All right,
Okay, thank you.
she's a very wise woman.
Yes, yeah,
She there isn't much that she didn't know about life, and where she learned it from, she just knew. You could feel the compassion coming from her for people. A
absolutely.
lot of compassion.
Yeah, lovely lady, lovely.
Really, very so sincere,
Yeah.
and so capable, and so in some ways you would think that she traveled the world 5 times. She seemed to know quite a lot about different things. And this is the
Mhm.
feeling that she shows me. She took a real keen interest in what was going on in the world and in current affairs. Very, very particular about what was happening in Africa and the times it was going on in the 70s and the 80s. That she prayed a lot. That's
Yeah,
that's what I feel with her. And
yeah,
Maura, did she wear her hair short at one point in time?
yeah. It was short always
Yeah.
always when I knew Maura.
There's almost a bit of a nun look about her, for want of better words. She's very, very pious. She wasn't always very pious, but she sometimes looked pious.
Mhm.
And was she the lady that knitted?
I don't think Maura knitted, but Maggie knitted.
I was about to. She's bringing forward two big black dogs as well into this space. And I need to acknowledge those dogs. Your dad loves them. He's bringing them in. Come on, come on.
Yeah, it could be. We had two black dogs. One was Terry and one was Tim, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to acknowledge the two dogs that Dad's bringing in, and Maggie's bringing in as well. Maggie's gone off. She's going to be baking you some bread now this evening, she says, for tomorrow morning's breakfast. She wants she's got her penny on, she says, and she's away, she's rolling. She says, that was her happy place. She really
Yeah.
was. She was a baker, and that's the feeling that she gives in, the home comforts and the smells and everybody coming around. Jimmy. She's bringing in Uncle Jimmy. Who's Uncle Jimmy?
She had a brother who was Jimmy.
Okay. But that made him your uncle. I can't get my graphics now around. That would have made him your uncle, wouldn't it? No, your great uncle.
Great
Your
uncle.
grand uncle.
a grand uncle, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Grand
yeah.
uncle.
Absolutely.
Were you looking at pictures of him today?
Well, I have a photo of them by my bed, so I look at them every day. You know, there's a picture of them together.
Yeah. And
And
is there one?
I had a locket I was going to put on with a picture of them, but I didn't put it on then.
That's okay. I feel like I need to acknowledge the picture of Daddy on his own, though. There must be one of Daddy on his own that you must have been either wanting to get it blown up, redone, fixed, modernized, something he's talking about, that there's a picture of him that you were hoping to improve upon. Does this make sense? So I see him almost like in a kind of grey suit type jacket, and there must be an image of him in this grey jacket, the way that he came through in this image to me here. And in that picture, even though the color is a little bit blurry on it and it's not the best picture, that's the one that he would like out if it's at all possible, even just to simply every now and again show the grandchildren. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a grey suit at my brother's wedding. So we all have that picture, and it's him on his own. We just kind of blew it up and just focused on the face, kind of.
That's the one
But
he's referring to.
we would all have that because he would have been in his suit that day. And
Fabulous. So that validates that, which is really nice. And I'm going to thank your dad for doing that. Your dad's talking about drinking lots and lots of soup. Who likes soup?
I make soup a lot.
It's not as good as your mummy, Sue says.
all right.
He's challenging you on that one, Caroline, so he is.
Yeah.
He's only messing with you when he says that. It's not as good as your mummy's. He said you need to put a bit of celery in it.
All right.
Just to thicken it up a bit.
Yeah.
But that was him. Your dad was just very salt of the earth, very down to earth, very approachable, very easy to get along with. You understand? And
Yeah.
I sense you girls are very blessed to have a lot of good memories in there, even though they might be distant memories. They're still good
Yeah.
memories.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
You're in Mayo, is it, Caroline?
They were from Mayo.
Very, very much so. Who's Kathleen?
Kathleen is my mum's sister.
I need to acknowledge her. Kate. Did your mum at one point wear a scarf up over her head or around her head?
No,
Only when she was gardening. Only gardening.
Okay. She's gardening at the moment because that's the way she comes in.
All right.
She's got her gardening scarf on.
She was very good at gardening. She didn't like it though.
under duress.
It's one of those things you had to do. She
Yeah.
didn't like the feeling of the soil under her nails because it took forever to get them clean, she says.
Yeah.
You know, and you couldn't go up to mass with your hands dirty like that. She's very punctual, your mum. Do you understand?
Oh yeah, very.
Oh, so you're never late for anything, ever.
Very.
And the same applies, Karen, you get an awful flap when you're late for something, don't you?
I don't like being late either. Yeah.
Yeah. She's telling me you're the exact same. Bernadette, she would come in with a cow, she says. But every time suits you, it doesn't matter. She says there's been a lot of late nights. Who's up late, really, really late at night, not able to switch off or very busy? Which one of you?
I sometimes work the night shift.
Oh, okay. And struggling to switch off then when you come back into regulation, you understand? Your mum has given me loads of tulips to give to both of you.
Oh, thank you,
Tulips.
Mum.
Tons and tons of tulips, every colour you could possibly ever imagine. She wants you to have them. I believe they must be one of her favourite flowers for her to give me tulips to give to you. Okay.
Thank you.
She's taking good care of Dad, and Dad's taking good care of her.
Oh,
Your mum was an open book. What you see was what you got.
that's
That's
true.
it. So simple in the way that she approached things. You know, she didn't fuss and she didn't shouldn't ever want your dad to ever feel like she didn't adore him. She really adored your dad, that definitely.
Maybe.
When we made the first connection, and let's just reflect for a moment just to break up the energy a bit. When we made the first Facebook connection with Maggie, tell me a little bit about what came through, what made sense to you guys.
Well, Maggie, the name, and she was called Margaret, but more known as Maggie.
Yeah.
And then my middle name is Margaret too. My dad used to call me Maggie when I was young. And she was very determined lady and very clever lady, and she was very insightful. Felt like she could read people very well, and she was very holy lady. And like that, a great cook. Great, she always made her own bread every day, and she was kind of like the matriarch of the family. You know, she kind of worried about everybody, cared about everyone. You know, I think they were the main things. I felt that I didn't want to jump in too soon in case it wasn't her, but it felt like she was coming in very determined, you know.
Feisty was the word that I was getting, and everything you said there, you know, this your grandmother, was very, very feisty, and Bernadette, you're very like her. I know you're holding back a little bit, but I sense that your personality is quite fiery. And when you've got to say, you say it, you don't let go of it. You understand? Would you say Caroline Bernadette's like a dog with the bones sometimes?
Yeah.
When she gets her teeth into something. You get it from your grandmother, Maggie.
Oh, all right.
You know, now she says you have a lot to live up to, though. I would say she had a great sense of humor, and she'd have everybody roaring, laughing at times, you know.
Yeah.
And that's
conversationalist.
definitely. When she spoke, and she says this with a lot of pride. She says, "When I spoke, people listened." Okay.
Yeah.
And she's telling you, you need to sort out your drawers. Your drawers are very, very messy. Okay. So one of you, we won't out them, embarrass them now, but somebody's got very messy drawers that needs to sort them out, because you can't have that in your kitchen. Your kitchen's meant to be clean. She's laughing at me because, oh look, can I tell you this just for the crack? I have what I call marbles, which are gerbils. When I went to buy them originally, I thought I was buying mice, but they had no mice. So I was a bit disheartened. So we bought gerbils, and I christened them marbles. So the marbles had babies, and there's 3 baby marbles at the moment. And one of them decides to jump out of its container this afternoon. And it's running around, it's about this small, and it's running around my kitchen at the moment. And I have to go down and try and rescue the thing, but I have a very strong feeling that your granny Maggie is having a great laugh at me in my kitchen at the moment, trying to catch this rat of a thing. Did she have problems with mice? Do you mind me asking?
Not that we know of, but
Probably
maybe because it was a
farm-
farm. It was a
farmhouse.
farm, you know.
I would question that, because I think there's some stories about her and mice as well, because I always say spirit bring my attention to different things for very good reasons. Okay. And you can't let the mice inside your flour, for example. Okay. And Bernie, when are you going to start baking again?
Yeah, I need to. I was looking into trying to get some bread recipes, so I may find some.
You already have some, she says. It's all in here. Because you watched her often enough, you understand, and it registered in there. You understand? So the thing is, once you have it, you never lose it. You need to work from instinct, okay?
Yeah.
And she tells me that you're very psychic.
I am? Oh.
Yeah. She is, isn't she, Caroline?
Yeah.
That's you being told, you understand? Because in our house, people used to come around and she'd tell stories, you understand? And often those stories made an awful lot of sense, or they came true. Do you see? She predicted many little things. And people who had the problem with their hearing, or has a problem with their hearing, or I
We have
need to be wearing one.
who needs one.
Oh yeah, our uncle.
Yeah.
My mum's brother.
Mm.
Yeah, we need to get that
Always ask
sorted.
him about it. Hearing aids.
Yeah, she's saying hello to him.
Oh.
Okay. You might not be able to say that, but the next time you're near him, even just a pat on the shoulder, a hug, anything is the intention that she's extending her love to him. You understand? He's a stubborn old goat. Bloody
that was
heck. He literally does not listen, excuse the pun. She's laughing now at what she's just said as well, but she says he doesn't listen. She's been trying to get through to him and he's not listening to her. She'd be rattling the windows and everything, and she's taken energetically, spirits can do some weird things sometimes. It's like she's taking things and moving them in his space, and he's looking around, where did that go? Where did that go? And he's like, he thinks he's forgetting things and he thinks he's going senile, but he's not. Yep.
And you mentioned a Kathleen, our aunt just passed, what, last week?
the 5th of March, Kathleen.
It was mum's sister. She was
Yes.
Kathleen.
She's here.
Oh.
She's actually winking. Why would she be doing this? I wouldn't expect that from a woman, but she's winking at you. She's going like that. And she's giving me the impression that she's sucking on an ice lolly.
Oh.
She feels like a 2-year-old kid, for want of better words, who's really happy.
Wow, that's good.
Was she very chesty or something going on with her chest?
She had
Lung
cancer,
cancer.
lung cancer.
Yeah.
She needs you to know she's fine, because she couldn't have ice cream before. She can have it now.
Oh,
It would have been
lovely.
too cold for her. Would have made her ill.
Mhm.
She's going like this. I've got my ice cream now, girls. See if you can, and if it evolves, ask, was she looking for ice cream before she passed? It must have been something she was asking for, and they were kept refusing her.
Okay.
You can't have that. That's not good for you. And now she's saying, I have it, and I can eat as much as I want. And she's laughing.
Good for you.
She needed to be here. Her body was tired. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was sick for a long time.
She really needed to be here. She's so comfortable and she's so content. You know, even your dad's been nice to me, she says. She's got a lot of really good memories of your family, you know, and that's what she will be the one in the future that will be helping you, her and Grandma Maggie will be helping you with your family tree. There will be somebody that starts instigating this. It won't be you two. And when they do, you'll laugh. Okay, because you already know that they're queuing up to help out, get as much information down on this as possible. Especially says, don't forget Curry. Okay,
Very, yeah.
Curry is really, really important. And Tommy.
Tommy.
Yeah. There's a connection to the surname O'Brien with your family. Okay, and that's, again, it's old stuff. I sense that's as much as I'm getting through, girls. I hope it's helped in some way.
Oh, thank you, Dawn, and you've given
Thank
us
you.
lots of information there, and it's really reassuring to know they're all together now, and that they are just up there, you know, and able to still be a part of what's going on, you know.
Yeah.
But don't ever give up on your quest for more, Caroline. Do you know what I mean? You have a drive, and that drive, it's okay to explore it, to do with the spirit world. Do you understand?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's okay to continue to explore it. There's always new doors opening and new ways of doing things. Did you ever play the harp, either of you?
No.
Hmm. Bernie, I think you have an untapped gift there, my dear.
Oh, the harp, is it?
Yeah, and I don't mean this.
I'm good at that.
Well, I heard you, you see, but no, I know that the harp would have been played in your family. Okay, there would have been a harpist in your family, and that's something that you guys might find in your research in time to come, which will validate it. Again, the gift comes to your side of the family, Bernie, and your children. So if it shows up organically, know that its spirit is influencing that person to take up that gift again. You
Okay.
understand? And I know it's female. I know the vocal also comes very pure and very Celtic with the singer in the family, female singer that plays the harp. It when the time is right, you'll know.
Okay.
Okay.
Mum's family were musical, like
Mm.
Granddad used to have. Remember the sessions in that old building? Remember years
Oh
ago?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. You know, and it is there. It's still, it will come back up to the fold. But I know that you also, we whether choose to embrace it or not, it's within you, Bernadette. You understand, to be able to
Okay.
play the harp, it would come absolutely natural to you. All right. Okay, my dear.
It's
I'm
been
going to,
so lovely to receive messages and to have the names come forward and, to answer some questions that we've had over the years.
yeah, it's been a powerful journey. Tell me about your parents, just even before.
Well, my dad, he was a lovely man. He passed sadly so too soon at 55, and it was their first sun holiday they had gone on. And he was a lovely man. He was so sociable and personable, and he never had a bad word, did he, to say?
No.
And Mum then just passed recently 3 years ago, and she missed him for so long, like 20 something years, and um it was tough in the beginning, but she kind of adjusted, like towards, latter years, and found her routine, but she still missed my dad hugely. So
Massive.
that was a consolation, I guess, that they'd waited so long to be together.
Mm,
That was the only bit of comfort, I guess. But we're just both really sad now because obviously we've no parents, and I guess I've had the other trauma of losing my own boy as well,
mm.
you know.
Did we ever make a connection with your son?
No, no.
Not yet. And has he ever come through in any other mediumship sittings for you?
No, he hasn't. No.
Okay.
Well, actually, 1 years ago, like that's how I first actually got interested. That's when he passed. I did see a medium in Dublin. That was like 20 years ago. But not really him. It was my dad who came forward to
Mm,
talk about him, because he was still a baby, like, you know.
yeah. And they don't have all the memories, that
No,
when an adult or even a young person, say 10 or 11, passes, they don't have all of those memories to share.
no,
So
no.
the energy is still beautiful, having gone through child loss myself. I know it can be very, 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 very challenging. I'd love to
Sorry.
send you a copy of Wonderchild, Caroline, if that's okay.
Oh, that would be lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, if you want to pop on your postal address to me, I can pop one out. It's just
Oh,
it's just a token of acknowledgement
thank you
that I
so much.
like to give to mums that understand,
Yeah.
and one thing I will say is that um you must have really liked chocolate at the time,
I still love it.
because I'm quite certain if he was here physically, he would be obsessed with the stuff.
Oh, and my husband, he's a chocolate monster.
Yeah, it's a wee thing. Like, he's still around. He hasn't gone far at all from your space, and he shows up. You think of him almost daily still. You
Yeah.
know, it's very rare that a day goes by that you don't acknowledge him. In some form, which is powerful. I don't even do that. Which is my bad, as they say. But I know he's here. He's with mom. your mum holds him,
Yeah.
and she's
Yeah.
cooing over him. And there's like a little Saint Anthony placed upon him.
Oh.
Whatever the connection is to Saint Anthony for ye. I'm going to leave you with a song by Vera Lynn. If you remember it, We'll Meet Again.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah.
That's the one that I feel will hold, from a verbal point of view, a lot of meaning for you, because that's what I've been told to tell you. You will see him again.
Oh,
You know.
that's lovely.
You've
Thank
always
you.
known that anyway. You don't need me to validate that, but his journey in your life made a massive impression.
Yeah. Yeah.
Massive, massive, massive impression. You're not allowed to be depressed anymore, Mammy.
No, no.
Mm-mm-mm. No more. Even your own mum says that, no more.
hmm
She always saw the sorrow in your face and felt it from you. You understand? In her own way, you both had a kind of understanding for the loss of a child together.
Yeah.
And what she wouldn't have done to take that heartbreak away for you, to relieve you of that burden.
Oh,
I think in some ways, I mean this in a really nice way, broke her heart to see you going through the same thing.
yeah. I could
But
imagine.
your mum kept a lot to herself. She would never want to burden you with those feelings. You understand?
Yeah.
And she wished, she says she has a few regrets. She wished she had told you how much she understood, but she didn't know how to express it.
Oh, oh. I tell her I always knew she was there anyway, and that was
Yeah,
the important thing.
she. Some people get robins. She's showing me lots of sparrows around you for some reason. Okay,
Oh,
little
okay.
sparrows. All right, and the little finches
Yeah.
come very, very close to you. Sometimes your son used to visit you that way. It sounds daft, but he still does. And
Mm.
must have been a point in time where there was a bird sitting on the bonnet of your car.
I get a robin who's comes into my kitchen even, or comes right to the back door, and I have a Jack Russell, and the dog doesn't even bark, and the robin has come walked right into the kitchen at times,
Yeah,
you know.
that's the energy of spirit coming close to you. But I have to acknowledge there were times in the past, now I'm going back a long time, where those birds would just sit on the bonnet of your car, and you'd be waiting to start your car until it moved and it wouldn't go. There must be a memory of that at some point in time, okay? And
Uh,
they'll never stop, you see. And as long as you have breath in your body, your son will stand beside you
oh, thank you.
from the
That's
spirit
great.
world. As long as you have breath in your physical body, he will always stand beside you. He needs you to know that,
Oh,
Mom.
that's lovely. That's
Mm.
lovely.
He's throwing loads of buttercups at your feet. So again, there must also be significance with the buttercups that they're bringing to you. Okay. And when he passed over, did you have a thing for stars?
I had like stars in, later years on the bedroom ceiling,
Mm.
But I always like looking out at stars anyway. Bright stars always catch my eyes, and
Know that he acknowledges the stars on the bedroom ceiling. This is what he's trying to show me, is that when you're there and you're watching those, he's standing watching them, or lying with you watching those stars. Okay. He needs you to have faith, in that over all the years that he's not been in a physical body, he's been with you spiritually. And he's washed and dabbed away every tear. Every tear. And the ones that most people wouldn't see. You understand?
yeah.
And that's he'll always be there to do that. Did you ever feel like a tingling on your face, Caroline, that you remember? Or a cool
Um,
breeze on your face?
Sometimes a cool breeze, yeah,
Hmm.
at times.
I need to acknowledge him as he's doing that with you. It's his energy as it comes close to you. And I know that
Mhm.
he was only very small when he passed, but he still has, and they still have intelligence. You understand? And
Yeah.
from my point of view, sometimes the spirit babies, they grow up, and
Mhm.
they become an age that's comfortable for them. So when
Yeah.
I see him at that age of about 6 years of age, and
Okay.
he's able to reach up and comfort and mummy and ask, why is mummy crying? You
Mhm.
understand? Why is mummy sad? Now, this is
Yeah.
obviously going back in time. And again, I want to bring you to the month of June. Where's the connection to that for you?
June. Hmm.
Was there a pregnancy due in June or conception in June?
Emma was due in June, but she came a few weeks early.
Mhm. I need to acknowledge her birth, okay, and him being there for
Mhm.
that. And I know that he shadows her, that he follows her around
Oh, okay.
and always has done.
Yeah.
Where's the small red bus? As if I'm looking at a
I
little
have a
lump.
red car.
Okay, I'll accept that. I made a mistake there. Is this a toy car?
Yeah, I have a red car on his grave, little red toy car, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
And did you go to London at one point in time?
I did, yeah. Yeah, just last year.
He was with you when you went.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah. There's going to be lots more moments in life where I know he's walking with you. There's come a point where you've got to write some of this down, Caroline.
Yeah.
You know, your thoughts need to be expressed. Your story needs to be told.
Mm-hmm.
Your family story will be told, but it's not necessarily that it's a book. It's almost like you tell it to somebody who writes about it for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I appreciate both your time, and I've kept you longer than expected, but
No, thank you.
it
Thank
was
you, Dawn. You've been so generous with your time, and thank you for your talents and for, the comfort you've given us
you're so
tonight.
welcome. You're so
And,
welcome.
we've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks very much.
Bernadette, thank you for your patience, my dear. Appreciate it. I will hopefully see you both in the future, and if not, blessings.
Oh, thank you, Dawn, and
Take
thank
care.
you once again.